Pan and Syrinx, a story of love and loss. Pan fell in love with the nymph Syrinx, but she fled from him, prompting him to pursue her. Syrinx, halted in her escape by the waves of the river Ladon, called upon her sisters, the Naiads, who transformed her into reeds. Pan fashioned these reeds into an instrument with 7 pipes, naming it after the nymph. The story continues. In the cold mountains of Arcadia, among the hamadryads of Non-Acris, there was a famous naiad known as Syrinx. She had evaded the advances of satyrs and various gods who frequented the shady groves and fruitful fields. She dedicated herself to the Ortygian goddess, adopting the attire of Artemis. She could have passed as Latona's daughter, were it not for her bow of cornel wood or, on occasion, gold, which sometimes fooled others. One day, as she returned from the hill of Lycius, Pan spotted her. With his head adorned with sharp pine leaves, he spoke these words. Hermes recounts the rest of the tale, how Syrinx rejected Pan's advances and fled through pathless areas until reaching the gentle stream of sandy Ladon. There, she prayed to her watery sisters for transformation. Pan, believing he had captured Syrinx, grabbed some reeds from the marsh instead of the nymph's body. As he sighed among the reeds, the wind caused them to produce a murmuring sound, enchanting him. He vowed to keep this form of communication, and the reeds, bound together with wax, retained the name of the nymph. 16. Hermes outwits Argus. Hermes, having lulled Argus to sleep, swiftly severs his head, while Hera places his eyes in the peacock's tail. As the messenger god Hermes prepared to speak further, he noticed that all of Argus's eyes had succumbed to sleep, and his vision was veiled in slumber. Without hesitation, Hermes halted his storytelling and reinforced Argus's slumber, gently caressing his drowsy eyes with his magical wand. With no delay, he struck Argus as he nodded off, swiftly severing his head from his neck with his curved sword. He then flung the lifeless body, stained with blood, from the rocky perch, leaving the craggy cliff smeared with gore. Argus, once vigilant with countless eyes, now lay motionless, his many orbs closed in eternal sleep. The daughter of Saturn, Hera, claimed his eyes and adorned the feathers of her sacred bird, the peacock, with them. She adorned its tail with these luminous gems, transforming it into a radiant display of starry beauty. 17. Io's long journey and transformation. In her rage, Hera wastes no time in expressing her wrath. She conjures a fearsome fury before the eyes and mind of Io, piercing her with invisible stings and driving her to wander the earth in terror. The Nile becomes the final destination of her long journey. Upon arrival, Io falls to her knees at the riverbank's edge, lifting her neck toward the heavens. With groans, tears, and mournful lowing, she seems to lament Zeus and plead for an end to her suffering. Zeus, embracing his wife's neck, implores her to end Io's punishment, assuring her that Io will no longer trouble her. He calls upon the waters of the river Styx to bear witness to his oath. Once Hera is appeased, Io regains her former shape. Her hair returns, her horns diminish, her eyes shrink, her jaw retracts, her shoulders and hands reappear, and her hoof transforms into 5 nails. No trace of the cow remains except for her whiteness. Content with 2 feet, Io stands upright as a nymph. Though fearful of speaking, she cautiously tries to articulate words once more. Now revered as a goddess, she is worshipped by the linen-wearing crowds of Egypt. Of course, this is a story from Greek mythology, but historically, the worship of the goddess Isis existed over 1,000 years before that. The tale of Io was created as the worship of the goddess Isis was transmitted to Greece.